Well, as Robbie Burns would say, the best laid schemes on mice and men, Glen after glay. That really means the best laid plans often go awry. Very tempted to just chuck the cameras back in the bag, call it all off and just go home. But that's not me. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. This is kind of when road trips go wrong. Despite the weeks of planning, I had booked a Kai car to travel around Japan, bring this little documentary styly Tokyo drift, JDM scene kind of on that. It was more about the car, and we were going to get the big guns out, the cameras, and I rocked up. I must be the only guy that was disappointed to get an upgrade to the car rental. One Nissan Note hybrid later. Nobody gives a shit on this channel about a Nissan Note, let alone me. And plans changed. This was supposed to be a kind of a cinematic Daikoku rest area. That's kind of the area in the middle of Tokyo Bay where people meet up on a Friday night and do the old Tokyo drift thing. Got there, the police got there before me, the sirens were wailing, and that's traditional. Everyone clears out at that point. It was 7:15 in the evening. So that put an end to that one. But yesterday, despite a couple of those setbacks, the Nissan engine museum was fantastic, I have to say. If you're into the mechanical oily bits, as I am, lovely to see the kind of RB26 and all the rest of it, early Skyline motors and stuff like that. Can you believe they've made 40 million engines? 40 million, holy moly. So first stop on the whistle stop tour is this, the Nissan engine museum. Free in, closes at 4, and obviously wasn't expecting it to be at the factory, but here we are. I think it's just in here. One of the older parts, I suppose. Maybe it could have been the original head office. It might have been a drafts room or something like that back in the day, but they certainly have got plenty of engines in there. All right. Well, here we are upstairs in the engine room. It's nice to see some of the types, especially the racing engines as well, and the RB26, that classic straight six twin turbo job in the Skylines. And really the beating heart of any car is the engine. And a lovely little sideline just to start our journey on. So another highlight was a pit. That's kind of Halfords on steroids. Got everything in there, got all your blitz gear and your tuning, everything else. And even a coffee shop where you can sit down and have a coffee. Lovely to see the kind of magazine scene is really fitting well here in Japan. So we're going to start today at the NISMO Factory. Do the C1 inner loop. That kind of is the highway that weaves in and out of the skyscrapers in Tokyo. Then we're going to try the Rainbow Bridge, Daikoku again, and who knows what else we will end up. This is 24 hours car hire. Got it yesterday. Got to leave it back this afternoon, and you know what, if you're going to do it, it's, I don't know, it's less than 100 quid with all the collision damage waivers. Oh yes, get yourself the little toll card as well as an add-on. That's an absolute must for your car hire around here, because most of these roads are on the toll system as well. It's a kind of a rack it up, auto pay, and settle the bill when you leave the car back. So let's get down the road into the mighty Nissan Note Hybrid, of all things. Won't feature much on this video itself, I have to say. Yeah, pay careful attention to the entrance, especially if you're trying to navigate by sat-nav, and I'm sure 100% of people try and enter the Nissan factory gates rather than the little hidden entrance 40 meters down the road anyway. Nice, kind man. He directed me in the right direction. Thank you for speaking English. So we're here, we're going to pop in, see what it's all about. Well, there we have it, in and out, Nismo. Yeah, about, what do we have, 5 or 6 cars in there, one on the wall, in and out. You know what, a few minutes. Just a nice starting point for the old Shibuya and C1 loop and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to try and do now. You got to pre-program your GPS in advance, folks, because it's a big no-no here in Japan to be distracted. The C1 loop let's see a little bit about that. And then kind of Rainbow Bridge. So here's the little picture of the plan, one I prepared earlier, as they say in the best Blue Peter style. So this one's more about the kind of the scenery and the atmosphere and seeing what you can see and just literally enjoying the drive around Tokyo. So down to Shibuya, we'll do the C1 loop and we'll get ourselves on. Hey, who knows what we'll see. So the C1 loop, I'm expecting winding through the skyscrapers. So let's just see what happens. A totally different driving experience. One thing you really do need is that ETC card, that auto pay. A lot of the entrances you won't get on without it. Trying to navigate pay booths as a non-native speaker or reader would be an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute must in a hire car. Well, we finally made it. Here we go. Daikoku Parking Area, or PA. Saturday afternoon. It hasn't been shut down just yet, and there's a few cars on display here, which is always nice, to be honest. That was the intention. No neon, because it's still bright lights here, but you know what? At least we've salvaged this one just a little bit. It all seemed a bit kind of pants last night. I was hoping to get down here, and obviously the police scared everyone away with their sirens, closed it down. But here we go, there's a few here, GT3 RS, oh yes, a few other bits and bobs, and always nice to see. Well, look at that, it's the evening in Yokohama, the old big wheel, it's turning, it's lit up, it changes completely the whole dynamic of this place. There's a little fun fair out here with a roller coaster and stuff like that. What can I say about driving in Japan? Nobody sticks to the speed limits, it appears. I was and felt like I was holding people up. To be honest, they were getting frustrated. But in a hire car, the last thing you want is a speeding ticket to find you at home. I enjoyed the C1 loop. It's overground, underground. All in all, tolls about £25. All in all, it was less than 150 quid anyway. Would a Kai car have been more interesting? Yeah, it might have been more about the car and less about the driving the roads, I suppose. Nissan Note is unnoteworthy, really, to be honest. Having CarPlay and the maps that I could pre-program really made a difference, because once you're on those highways, you are kind of on them. If you've got this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you again in the next one. All the best now. Bye-bye.